Well, hi, Scott Weatherford. Welcome back to the A4J, All for Jesus podcast, for students by students. And you guys, well, y'all are just a little bit older than students. I guess you still are students, right? Yeah,
just a little bit, tiny bit.
Yeah, so who do I have with me?
Trevor Yaks.
And then who's this sitting in the middle?
I'm Kailee.
And you two guys are getting married in June. So as you guys are watching this podcast, these two are in the throes of wedding planning. So, Kailee, are you a bridezilla? Are you a sweetheart?
I don't think I am. I hope I'm not.
And we're not going to ask Trevor because we don't want to create any drama.
Be a little silent over here.
Yeah, silent over here. But these guys have gone through kind of a long period of dating. You started kind of distance dating, about 2 years worth, right, of dating total?
2.5 of dating total, 1 year of
long distance
dating.
Long distance, yeah. So it's been quite the
ride
experience.
Yeah.
Which is good because we're going to harvest that experience because today we're going to talk about proper relationships while dating. And we're, I've kind of taken this couple through their premarital counseling. They got an A+ in this, so let's see how they do on the podcast. So I want to talk to you guys. So, Trev, if you're going to give our listeners a piece of advice about dating a girl, what would you say?
Well, I'm a perfect in a relationship, just so you know.
You're an expert.
Yeah, I've made no mistakes whatsoever, and we'll
talk about lying the next podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Well, she'll definitely testify. Yeah, exactly. I would say one of the biggest things about dating through high school and dating through in life is just be respectful, of course.
Oh, respectful.
Always respect doing what she needs, what she wants. Also, we had a little bit of a different story, though, with being long distance. And so trust went a long way, and it still goes a long way. And I think that really helped us out. So always trust the other person until you have a reason not to, like until they break it.
Because we had to trust each other. There was no choice. Like, our relationship wouldn't have been good if we didn't have that trust.
Exactly.
So how did you build that trust? What did you do to build that trust?
I mean, we just kind of started off with it, I guess you could say. I mean, you find out. I knew her personality pretty fast. I knew she wasn't one to mess around or do anything like that. And I think she knew the same about me. And so we got to know each other a little bit better and then just grew on off of that.
Okay, now, wait a second. You said you don't want to mess around. But, Kailee, what if he was, had a reputation of messing around? Do you think you'd have to do some things to build some trust? Not that he did.
Yeah, definitely. Probably being a little more leery.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, be a little more cautious. Yeah, and more. Now, we talked about no secrets, no worries. Do you think that's applicable in dating?
I think 100%. Yeah. That should be consistent through your relationship in general, like dating and marriage. I think no secrets probably goes out to be the best way to
I asked that question in a recent podcast about when parents lose your mind, and I said, hey, as a teenager, do you think you should have a policy with your parents, no secrets, no worries? And they went, whoa, no, it's all about privacy. But, when you're dating, it's not about privacy,
It's got to be an open book.
It's about trust, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. What are some trust builders? What can you do? And Kailee, I'll let you answer that first. What can you do to build trust with Trevor? How do you build trust with Trevor?
Oh, goodness. How do I build
Now, you got an A+ in this, so you have to think back.
I did. I'm trying to think of
studied for the exam and forgot everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's just so natural now with how much how long we've been dating. It's just kind of habit.
2.5 years, yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard to think of the exact thing because it's just how we live our lives. Definitely phones. We will hand each other's phones just constantly. There's nothing to
share
hide.
your devices. So he has your passwords, you have his passwords. Okay,
yeah, we have the little face, the face scanners in it too.
So even his phone loves your face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Romantic. Yeah.
Her phone does not love my face, though.
Trevor, you have a face only a mother can love.
Exactly, yeah. So clearly. Her phone reminds me that every single time.
It's you again.
He goes, who's that? Yeah.
So building that trust now, if you remember in counseling, I'll give you a little kind of, the reminders. The 4 T's. Can you remember the 4 T's of trust building? Time, talk, treasure. honoring and treasuring it, and
Thoughtful.
touch.
Yep, that's what I
Not
was saying.
thoughtfulness, but that's good. That's good, Trev. That's a good point to be thoughtful, but to and of course that touching is not sexual touching.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you're dating, there's a bit of that, but then we'll save that for another podcast. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you two.
Me and Kaylee won't be a part of that podcast.
No, you two, well, y'all can come back as experts. Your honeymoon, y'all can talk to us about it.
No, don't give him any. Yeah,
That's pretty creepy. So we're gonna avoid that.
yeah.
Just a little bit.
No, leave that part in. Anyway, so back to the building of the trust. Trevor, what have you done to build trust in Kaylee? What intentionally have you done to build trust with her?
Whenever we were long distance, I was telling her everywhere I was going, who I was hanging out with. And with my school was very it was 30 girls in our grade and 20 guys. And so I had a lot of friends who were girls. And me and Kaylee kind of had a role while we dated throughout high school where if she was hanging out with a group of people and she knew a guy before she knew me, I had no problem with her hanging out with Brenner, for example. Mm-hmm. That's one of her really good
One of my really good guy friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
She knew Brenner for how long?
Of course, not one-on-one. There was nothing.
No,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But it was
okay, so you created a boundary there.
Yeah, not one-on-one, but in a group.
But if we're in a group, and it's I was talking to so-and-so a lot tonight, it wasn't weird because I had already known him for so long beforehand. But if it was a new guy I had never known or hadn't known until that point, there's that kind of healthy boundary. Don't really need to get to know them.
Yeah,
you can't let
discipline to say, okay, I'm not going to ride in a car with somebody.
Exactly.
I'm going to eat dinner with somebody.
Exactly.
Have extended conversation. Mm-hmm. So you kind of avoided what would be what we call initiating. Because most people break up. And get this. Most people break up not because of relational differences. It's because somebody else has caught their eye. So I know in high school, particularly young adults, that most people don't move on for a relationship because there's relationship dysfunction. They move on for a relationship because there's greener pasture. And what you'll discover, that the grass is always greener over the septic tank.
Exactly.
So pay attention to that relational drift. So creating those boundaries, talking to one another, informing one another, that's great. Now I want to move to a little more uncomfortable conversation about honoring each other in dating relationships.
So I was going here with Scott.
Yeah, well, we need to go there because you guys are in love, right? And part of that is you're moving towards marriage, right? Mm-hmm. And part of that is the physical pressure of wanting to express your love to one another physically. What do you do to balance that? How do you keep that God honoring? I know you're both going into this marriage in not being with other people, but not being with each other yet. We used to call it purity, but it was really creepy because you're pure because of Jesus and whatever. But how do you do that? How do you do that? That seems to be a difficult question, especially today.
That's a team effort for sure. You both
team effort.
You both gotta. If one person doesn't want to do that and the other person does, I don't think that's going to work out very well. I mean, you got to have both people on the same page, on the same team, trying to go around that obstacle.
So that should be a conversation early on.
Oh yeah. It was for both of us. I mean, luckily about us is we both had parents that were very strict on that and very hit us
loving.
Exactly. Hit us when we were young, so we understood that and stuff. But yeah, it's the team effort. Don't put yourself in a situation that could end up in.
So late night prayer meetings may not be.
I mean, I say that, but yeah, we hang out late at night and we.
But we know it, and if either of us feel a little tempted or anything, we've had that time where we've said,
separate,
"Look, we need to." I'm feeling this way. We need to go to our separate places, separate rooms, and
transparency.
Honestly, transparency. She says, "Hey, Trevor, I'm feeling this way." And she leaves. You go, "I'm the man." Do you do that, Trevor? You got that secret, I am, hunka burning love.
Oh, of course. I mean.
I'm sorry, Kaylee. It embarrassed you. Yeah.
I'm not. It's funny.
Yeah. But, okay, so that has to be something talked about early in your relationship. That is so wise. And if you say, okay, I am, quote, unquote, saving myself for marriage, like whatever. I think some of the purity culture in churches kind of got weird, and that kind of need to move away from that, because what you're doing is you're honoring God with your sexuality, and God made sex. He wants you to enjoy sex, but he wants you to do it in the proper context, and that would be in the covering of marriage. And so you guys, that way, you're not going to hang out at your wedding reception. You're going to go to your honeymoon. You're going to say, peace out.
Exactly.
Yep.
Because we're going to stop by Whataburger first, because that's an essential. But then
that's a
really
wonderful
is.
confession, Trevor. Go to Whataburger first.
Hey, honey butter chicken biscuits?
I just hope I'm never that hungry. But anyway, that's
crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah. So talking to one another, communicating clearly one another,
transparency,
being transparent, access to phones and things like that. How soon do you kind of implement those roles? Like second date, first date, third date, fifth date?
Whenever it's official. I mean, whenever it's...
Official, okay.
Whenever,
Well, I feel like our situation was kind of different, too.
Well, tell us about it. Why?
We got to know each other the summer of COVID. So
okay. Good luck with that one.
But we got to know each other that summer.
You probably didn't see his face for like 3 months. That explains a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I can text up a storm. Right. Yeah. I'm good over the phone.
But we really liked each other. We wanted to be in a relationship, but we neither of us could drive, so we couldn't.
Right.
Then we didn't talk for like months. Really, maybe a text every now and then, every 4 or 5 months.
I kind of ended things poorly, though.
He did. He really did. I was mad at him for
I messed up on that one.
It hurt. A lot of that.
Apparently, you don't end things the day before your birthday.
No, the day after my birthday.
The day after your birthday.
Basically ghosted me on my birthday.
Yeah, okay. We talked about that in counseling, so let's move past that. Okay? All right, that's good.
But anyways, we kind of had this history before, so we knew each other. We knew those feelings were there. So by the time the next summer rolled around, ironically on my birthday, literally a year later,
he redeemed himself.
Yes.
I came back.
Focus on redemption.
I came back.
And not stupidity.
Like the prodigal son.
Prodigal son. Yeah, smelling like a pig.
Exactly. Yeah. Probably was too.
Yeah. So so you when you kind of what you said, quote unquote, official was that you said, okay, we're in this now. Okay, let me say this and let me see what you think. I think a lot of times now teenagers get into a relationship and they think they're married. What's the difference between being married and being dating?
I mean, there's a lot of differences, and honestly, we can't answer that fully yet because we don't know all the hardships of being married yet. We know all like the paperwork we got to fill out and all that stuff. But I would.
So there's more joy than hardship, just so you know.
Oh yeah. So I know that. I just say you have to dating's almost. Like, I don't know if I'm going to say this wrong, but dating's like the practice for the marriage.
Absolutely, that's a great answer. Yeah, that's true.
You gotta make sure you because. Honestly, whenever you do get into a relationship, I mean, you're feeling the person out. There's going to be things you like about someone. There's also going to be things that kind of annoy you a little bit. Yeah. And that's what you're kind of you're testing out and stuff. And then same with you though. I know I annoy her probably every day of my life, and
you'll continue to do that.
And I'll continue to do that. And but that's when the trust and all that comes in, and you're just practicing on those things, and you're just learning how to be a better partner. I mean, I was awful whenever we first started dating, and I think I've gotten better throughout it.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I hope I have. At least I hope I have. I'm not still.
Okay. Now think about this: guys bond physically, then emotionally. Girls bond emotionally, then physically. And if you get those out of balance, so guys, this is Papa Scott's advice. Guys, you need to be the one who is the gatekeeper for physical contact in your dating relationship. Not your girlfriend, you. In other words, you need to be one that said, I need to go home. Or we need to stop. Or we need to, whatever. You got to do that because let me tell you why. You don't want to shoplift. Taking something that ain't yours.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you want to be respectful because it's going to damage her girl heart. But when she bonds with you emotionally, then you both become gatekeepers. And that's just the whole thing. And what happens a lot of times, I'm a little teaching moment here, that guys and girls start dating, their relationship starts here. And then their emotional connection is here, but then physically they go here. So they're lying to themselves about get their emotions up. And that prolongs, just pain. So I want to ask one more question. What if, and I know you guys have dated other people, right?
I have.
You have. He's your one and only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There were people, but we never dated.
Okay. All right. Let me ask Trevor this then. Should you date people you would never marry?
No. Because, you know that answer, though? Yeah, that's good. No, because, exactly. Dating only ends in one way, and if you already,
terminal, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, dating only ends in two ways: either get married or you break up. And so, if you already know that this is not a person you're gonna marry, then you're just wasting each other's time. I mean, honestly, and also that kind of goes into effect when we were talking about like having a conversation with the other person when y'all start dating. If the other person has different beliefs than you, a different belief system. A lot of people go into it thinking, I can change them.
Yeah, it's called missionary dating.
Exactly. And the truth of the matter is, you can't. Like a person, especially if the guy's the one that's not a Christian or whatever, you might think you can change that person,
but he's faking it.
Yeah, he's faking it. I mean, a guy's a guy, you know.
Yeah, guys are pretty much driven by their physical need desires,
and they'll do anything to.
It's true, and I know it sounds very
blunt.
Well, it may be harsh towards men, but men are that way. And so we need to understand that about ourselves so that we need to guard the hearts of our girls, whether we're dating or not dating, and we don't need to take from them what has been for someone else.
Exactly.
So that's really important. And so we honor girls by being honorable. And I think it may not be what's really cool today, and girls out may listen to go, so I'm responsible for myself. That's right. But you know what? You are responsible for yourself, but you need to have guys that make you safe. And girls, you need to be safe too, because there's predatory females. Did you know that, Trev?
I have never, believe it or not, I'm not good enough looking for that to happen to me, but...
Well, Trevor, even in my old age, I've had some creepy encounters at gas stations here in Victoria recently.
Oh.
And it's just like, I think they're blind people, but anyway, it's really so you need to pay attention. So in party comments, if we're going to live all for A for J, all for Jesus, then we have to respect what God says about relationships outdo one another, showing honor. We have to maintain proper sexual boundaries according to biblical values. And then we have to be open and honest, no secrets, no worries. Anything else you want to add?
I think I'll add one more thing. If the other person does something that kind of offends you a little bit, bring it out right then and there.
Talk through it.
Talk through it. Don't
be passive.
Yeah,
Please don't be passive.
It doesn't get you anything in the long run.
Okay. That's probably a good answer.
Yeah.
So don't let issues become issues. Deal with issues before.
Right then and there. Exactly. It might get ugly. It might not be as fun or whatever.
Well, it may cause you to say, you know what, this person is not for me, and you can move on.
Exactly.
And so when you break up with somebody, you just ghost them. Is that what you do?
No, I wouldn't say go. Why are you asking that to me, Scott?
She's never broken up with anybody, Trev.
I definitely don't ghost them. Face to face, do it right then. Because I hear so many stories of over text, and now that's just not the way to do it. In person, and then be as nice as possible. That's now I've been broken up with though more than I've
really
breaking up.
Well, I was dating a girl in college, and I just quit calling her, talking to her, and she caught me in front of the library at Florida State, and she chewed me out in front of a gang of people who gathered around to listen to the
there
parade.
You go.
Oh.
So then we had to.
At least she doesn't think y'all are still dating, because that would be awkward.
No, Tara only.
Exactly.
I'm only one guy. Guy with Tara's my one and only. So, anyway, I hope this has helped. All for Jesus, A for J podcast for students by students. So, Kailee, Trevor, thanks for joining me.
Sir.
Congratulations on the upcoming nuptials, and we look forward to seeing how God uses you in the days ahead. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks.